All right, I'm recording. All right, Steve,
Okay,
where are we on?
so we basically just finished the pursuit phase. We kind of already did the air return phase because I was cleaning it up as we were going. But then Tom told us how to do the assign the air for next time, so we'll know how to do that. So we won't have to put flags all over it like we did. And then it would be the player turn end phase. So complete any turn administration, include calculating combat replacements and remove spotted markers. And then I think we're at the beginning of your turn.
Okay, so I already calculated my replacements that I have. I've lost 35 stacking points for infantry. I lost zero point 0.5 for armor, and I lost 2 for artillery. And so what we have to do is we divide it by 3. So for instance, my infantry 35 divided by 3 is 11.67. And so there is a chart. So I want to show you that chart. And I'm using, because I think we're supposed to use the Blitzkrieg chart for this. It's page 42 of the Blitzkrieg chart, Steve. And it shows all the nations. I'm going to be under other. So to build a division back of infantry, I need 3 stack and replacement points of infantry and 1 from artillery. For armor, I need 1, 1, and 1, and then as so on and so forth. That's to get it to full. I have units that are on the map, so to flip it back to full, I have to give it 1.5 infantry stacking points and zero point 0.5 artillery stacking points. So basically, from my 11.67 stacking points that I have, to make an infantry division full from half, it's only going to cost me 2 stacking points. 1.5 for the infantry, zero point 0.5 for the artillery. Those two added together is just 2 stacking points. Is that clear? Or did I lose you?
This is on page four. This is on page 42.
Yeah, a chart 42. Chart 42 of the Blitzkrieg charts.
Yep. All right. So you're under the others. So to make a division, I see the 301. What are those numbers?
So the 3 is infantry. The 0
Okay.
represents armor. And the 1 represents artillery. Those 3, you put them all together to combine to make a unit.
To make a division.
Correct. See how armor
Okay.
needs,
Yep.
you need 1 from each. You need 1 from infantry, you need 1 from armor, and you need 1 from
Yep.
artillery.
And then you're saying to rebuild, it says below, divide the cost by 2. So it's 1.5, 0, and 0.5.
Correct. Now let's
Okay.
say I wanted to build armor for argument's sake. I can't take stacking points from replacement stacking points from infantry to build armor. You have to get it from your armor when they get destroyed.
Okay.
Okay? Infantry has infantry and artillery together to make it. Armor only has, as you can see, a little bit of infantry, a little bit of armor, a little bit of artillery to make it. Mark, chime in if you hear me say it, by the way.
All good?
Okay. Thank you for joining us. By the way, guys, we have Mark, who is a TSWW player who does the video, and we have a gentleman named April, who's also on this, who's going to be watching us play. Okay, so is it this phase or the next phase, the beginning of my phase, that I start doing, that I bring out my replacement points? So let's look at the sequence of play.
So let's look in the initial phase.
Both players determine supply isolation status. Phasing player, which is me, expends LP in general and offensive supply. I'll take care of that. Phasing player conducts administration activity, including distributing offensive supply, production, reinforcement. Okay, so it's here in the initial phase that I can flip over my units by spending my stack and replacement points. So I'm going to check supply. Steve, I'm going to give myself offensive supply if I'm crazy enough to counterattack you. And I'm going to bring on reinforcements, but I don't believe I have any. And I'm also going to build up my units with my stack and replacement points in this phase. So let's do that. Let's check my supply. I'm going to check general first.
I got a quick question for you.
Okay.
I only lost 4 stacking points. So you said you divide that number by 3 for how many replacement points you get?
That's correct.
Okay.
And break them into the areas, meaning the branches. Like you have infantry, you have armor, you have artillery.
I only lost 4 infantry.
Okay.
So I get 1.3 back, which, based on Germany's number, that can't build even a partial one yet. So I would just save those points then?
Correct. It goes into your force pool.
Okay.
And when you have a big game going on, each theater, you keep it in that theater's force pool. So if you had North Africa going on, you keep it in North Africa. Europe, you keep it in Europe, stuff, so on and so forth.
Okay.
There is a guy that is out of general supply, I believe, and I think it's this one right here.
Okay.
Now, zones of control, all they do, enemy zones of influence, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, this zone of influence is blocked by him?
It's what the rules call, I forget the term, the partial. So I think there's some ability. The issue would be what's going on in 701.
Let me zoom in.
I.e., if you have a division imposed on.
This one here, because it goes from here to get back to my core, because my core is giving him general supply.
He doesn't have a division there. All he has is
I'm sorry,
support
not
units.
my core is in there.
Yeah. But I think Mark, you saying that if you had a division there, that it would
certainly
cover 701.
It would be a different situation. Right now, he has nothing in 701.
But wouldn't this gentleman, this half division, give a full ZOI here?
Maybe, but then the issue is in 738, you got a full versus a half. And in 701, you have the same situation.
Now, it's not isolated. It's just going to be out of general supply because I can still, it's unblocked for isolation. It's just stopped for general supply, regular general supply.
The term is contested.
Contested, okay.
And there's a rule that where ZOIs are unequal, the greater ZOI negates the lesser ZOI for all game purposes.
So let's take that, what you just said. It's the greater negates the lesser. Now this one's still a full. So he's got a full zone of influence all around him. So there's where my confusion is if he has a full. And he, in this one, has a full as well, zone of influence. So they both are equal. So it's contested? Yes?
The issue is, I think the reduced division only exerts a reduced adjacent to it. which would mean in all those hexes, 702, 701, and 738, you have a greater negating the lesser potential situation.
So based upon what you just said, this unit as well would also be out of general supply, because this unit will
Well,
dictate.
he's not reduced though. He is reduced.
Correct.
So here they have both the same full, so they kind of cancel each other out
I see.
or contest. But Mark is saying that since he's reduced, he's not a full division, which it doesn't show that on the chart. It's probably in the rule. So that these for your guy are all partial.
Gotcha. Okay.
But this guy and this guy have full zone of control here, so that's his problem. He doesn't because he's full, so it's contested here and here.
Okay, then that makes sense. So that unit back up here, Steve, this division,
Yep.
he will be, I think it's a E1.
Yeah, if you go to supply and do allied turn OOS, it'll put the right thing on there. Because it's during your turn.
Hmm. He also will be.
Yeah, I think he will too.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
And Mark, we're not playing with the full Blitzkrieg rules. We just set up the Polish invasion.
Oh, sure.
We're not playing with surprise or anything. And we did the first turn. I just did offensive supply so we could learn it. Like all my guys weren't in offensive supply like they're supposed to be. We just wanted to move some pieces around. We're setting up the full campaign to play it once we've moved around for a few weeks. Then we'll jump in.
Correct. Yes, that's exactly what we're doing. This guy also, Steve, up in the north.
Yeah.
Because if he goes here, this guy's zone of influence beats his because he doesn't have any. So he's going to be.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that are E1. He can back up. This guy can get out.
I will say I've always found it ambiguous in the rules whether reduced division is treated effectively as a brigade that thus has reduced ZOI, but that's how I've always played it.
I think it should be played like that as well. At least, hopefully, John catches our video. He can put that in, so it's not ambiguous. Okay, so I am not going to spend any offensive supply. So no LPs will be spent, Steve.
Okay.
I will put some units, I'll flip them. And I wrote down somewhere where I had these units. I have 5 units that I can flip. Now, correct me if I'm not wrong, and we should look this up. I can be adjacent to an enemy unit as long as I'm in general supply, if I'm not mistaken, to receive stacking replacement points. So, Steve, I'm going to flip. It's 1. 2. 3. I can also bring people from the dead pile, Steve, back.
Okay.
4. and 5. No need to bring anyone back. Okay, so I check for general supply. That's done. I'm not putting anyone offensive supply. I did my combat replacement points. We're not going to work with production on this. Reinforcements, I don't believe I receive any. Both players conduct balancing of aircraft losses. So basically, if we have any losses from last time, and we have, it's called RSP, I believe. You can build up your planes. I'm not doing any. I don't believe you are, because I didn't think you lost anything.
I did not lose any.
And now it goes into my movement phase. Fly and resolve air-based attacks, missions. So phase and player, which is me. I'll do naval spotting. We're not working on that. I'll move my task force. We're not doing any naval. Phase and player moves ground units, including transporting. So if both players can do air-based combat right now, if you want to attack my air base with your planes. If not, I'll go into my ground movement phase. Do you want to attack my airfields?
Yeah.
So we'll do airfield, air base attacks. We'll resolve anything, and then we'll get into my ground movement.
Is this the only air guy you got on here? Is this guy right here?
I think so, Steve. I think you killed everything.
Oh, you got some guys down here too.
Yes, I do.
Down in Warsaw. Okay, let's see what we can do here.
Yeah, so in Warsaw I have my bombers, so I can't do cap. The only fighter I have is up here.
All right. Well, we should try to attack him, I think.
Let's do this. 1, 2. Let's take these guys out and put them on top. Oh, I have one more plane over here, Steve, down here. I'm bringing them on the top.
Oh, okay. All right. So, how did we assign our air bases again? Do you remember? Um, is it under the air tab? Air base. Okay, I'll assign air base all units. So they're assigned to their bases then. All right, so these guys. So they're going to fly to here, and then they're going to dogleg up to there.
Okay. April, what he's doing is, because in the rules you have to fly a certain path to your target, because it can be intercept on its way. And
Right.
also, if you fly with something that has AA, we can fire AA over it. So that's why we have to show the path we're going.
Right. Makes sense.
Oh, you're taking them back there from.
Yeah, they're gonna.
I don't have any AA capability up in the front line, Steve. I believe I kept them all in the cities. So you're going to be kind of safe.
Uh,
Nor am I going to have fighters out there attacking them.
you had one small AA right here, I think, that I had to fly over.
Where's that?
Down in the southwest there, UG 1327.
Okay, but you didn't fly over it, no?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, with the units that went up to Warsaw, they had to fly there.
Then I have to fly. I'll have to fire at you.
Okay,
Show me where
I
is
think
this? Did I miss this?
right here, I believe.
Okay, so it's just one. Let's get out the chart. So we're on one column,
So you're on
and
page 4 of the. Is that what you're at?
that's right. We're using it's back and forth with the charts are annoying. Okay, yes, we're in the one column, and air unit types. What kind of air unit types? Are you fighters, you're bombers? So I get a +1 for bombers to my dice roll. I also get a +1 because of has to do with my nationality, if you remember. It's on chart 20 on page 24, Steve.
Okay.
I guess I'm part of the Free Allied. I get a plus. It's 1939. I get a +1. National Technical Means AA.
Okay.
So I get a +1 for that. I get a +1 because you have bombers flying over me to my DR.
I hate to interject, Clay, but National Technical Means is only for anti-aircraft. You're looking for ACV.
Say that again, Mark.
National Technical Means is only a modifier for anti-aircraft fire, like anti-aircraft artillery. You're looking for ACEV for the plane mod for planes against planes.
No, no, no. I'm not doing planes.
Sorry.
He's flying over my AA.
Got it. My bad. Sorry.
That's okay. So I'm firing at him right now on his way to the target. So he flew, and let's make sure we're getting this correct. Mark, he flew a path to the target hex. On his way to the target hex, I have AA batteries sitting on the ground. We get to fire at him as he flies past over us. Am I correct on this?
Hey, that is an optional rule, correct?
Steve, it's an optional rule. You want to play with it, you want to take it out.
Yeah, we usually play with the optional rules because we like all the crunchiness. So.
It's crunchy.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's a +2. on my dice roll, and we are in one column. I'm going to roll and see what it is. 2 becomes a 3. It's a miss.
Okay. So then all the other air will get to the bases that they're attacking, trying to knock you out. And I can't figure out why all those M's are on my stuff. So
That's okay.
trying to figure out.
Let's start down here.
Okay.
My planes can't fight you because they're bombers. They're on the ground. But I do have 1, 2, 3, 4 AA points. However, I believe I also get another one for being in the city because you're attacking. And that's all the way at the back chart. If we go to page 43 on the charts, I believe, what is that, a great city?
Yeah, I'll look at the.
It's either great or either one. If it's great or major city, I get a one more AA.
Well, it's one of those for sure.
Okay.
If you go to the Atlas, it's a major city.
So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 plus that 1 makes 5. So we're going to be sitting on the 5 column on the AA chart. You're all bombers. I get a +1 for that. I get a +1 for my AA technical means. So it's a +2 to my dice modifier on the 5 column. So I'm going to roll a 10 plus 2 is 12. What did we do to you guys?
Turn to base, no combat loss. 0.75 times mission payload dropped. All factors dropped or dispersed for strategic missions.
Base, no combat loss. 75% of your payload dropped. Okay, so add up your payload times it times 75%. That's what hits that my air base.
So it's the first number on the bottom left, right?
That's correct.
So it's a 7 times 0.75 is 5.25.
So 5.25 drops down, and for every, I believe, 3 is a hit. So you said 5.25, right? Divided by 3.
Yep.
So that's 1 hit, and then there's 0.75. Now you got to roll for that 0.75 to be able to receive another hit to check.
Where do you get the 0.75?
Oh, 5.25 you said dropped.
Yep.
Divided
Yep.
by 3, right?
Oh, divide by 3? Okay.
Because for every
So 1.75, yeah.
yeah, so for every 3,
I got a 51, so that'll be another one.
so you have 2 hits on this airbase, and I had there.
And isn't each hit a hit on a plane on the ground?
So 2 hits, it will take out 2 planes. You're going to kill 2 of my planes. So let's do that first. Let's take away, because this was half already. This was just a squad. So it's dead, and it's dead. So those 2 planes are gone. So oh, it's not? That's weird. No, it is. Yeah, it has to go away. So delete. Okay. Now my airbase that was there had 2 hits from before. And it's going to take another 2 hits. But I think 3 hits is the max in a city. So nothing can fly out of here until I build it up. I'm sorry, it's 6 hits for a city.
Yeah, your city is a air base of you can have 6 there.
Yeah, so I put 4 hits on that. Okay. So that's done. You can fly those guys back to base.
You do that. There's a phase where you do that, and on the Vassal mod, there's a thing where you send all units back. So let's just do the other combats, and we can then send them back.
So this one, I have a fighter going against your fighter.
I have 3 fighters and 3 bombers.
Okay. My 2 to your 6. I'm talking about fighter to your fighter. My 2 firepower to your 6 is a -4 on the chart. My CEV is nothing compared to yours.
I'll just send 1 fighter after you 2. The other 2 fighters will help strafe the runways, I think is how it works, right?
Yes, so I roll a 2, and that's a nothing on air-to-air combat. So again, right. I'm -4. I rolled a 2, nothing. Now you're going after mine. So you're going to leave 1 fighter against me. So it's going to be.
I'm just going to have 1 fighter, so it's 8-1. Right?
No, yeah, it's 8-1.
That's a +7.
Actually, it's 7-1. It's your 8 to my 1, which gives you
a +7.
Yes.
That's +7.
Your CEV, because let's see what your CEV is for your planes, or ACEV, something like that. What it's called? There it is, ACEV. You are 1939. Germany's a 2. Poland's a 2, so you don't get anything. So it's a wash, if I remember.
How about the air combat result table DRM down below on page 3?
So since you didn't send your fighters against me, you only have 1 against 1 fighter.
Okay, so none of that'll matter.
So you want to roll? You're on the +7 column.
So I got an 8.
An 8 is 2.
So that's a 2.
So it kills me
off. 2 steps are limit.
He's gone because he only had 1 step.
And then that leaves me. Well, I don't know if it matters then, because all you had there was a air base. I guess I can attack the air base with my bombers.
My air base is. How many hits did you do on this? You didn't do any hits on this air base, no?
I don't see any.
I thought you did. But go ahead. So you're going to drop down.
So I got 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the 2 fighters make it 9, 10. 10 bombing factors.
So that's 3. So it takes out this this base.
Okay. And then we just have the one way down to the south.
Okay.
Now, if you see anything wrong, Mark, feel free to speak up.
Oh, heck no. I'm just enjoying the ride.
You won't hurt our feelings.
So we're down here right now.
Yep, we're down here.
So I'm a 3 to your 4, so it's -1. And that's it. Oh, you're bombers. So you're not attacking me, so you're going in. So I think I get a plus on that as well, if I'm not mistaken. So my 3 to your 4 it's -1.
Yep.
Yeah, this is where the one to many comes in, the fighter ratio DRM.
Correct.
Yep. So one fighter versus many bombers.
So I get a -1 for that on my DRM. And
I think that's it, right?
that's
Well,
it.
then he gets the kicker of having no fighters. So under
Oh,
these
okay.
the current rules set, you get another +2.
That's what it is, the +2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I get a
So that's a
+2.
wash. So -1, and +2.
So it's just a +1 to my DRM. That's it.
Or no, isn't it a wash? You got a +1 or a -1 versus because you're a
So it goes
3
-1.
versus 4 is a -1. And you got a -1 because of all the bombers.
No. So the column we're going to be on is -1 for me. Now we're
Right.
going to do the dice modifiers. So it's -1.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, the dice. Oh, yep, so you get a +1 on the -1 column.
Correct.
get
So
it.
it comes out to a +1 only. So
Okay.
we roll 3 + 1 is a
Oh,
4.
that's right on the borderline there.
And did I
That's
do
an
anything?
R. Return to base, no combat loss, 25% times mission payload dropped for an R. So I have 246. I think that's going to be 1.25. No, 1.5, I guess. So 1.5. We'll see if it rounds up. Nope. So just one hit.
No, it doesn't go like that. So
No?
it's you have, what'd you say, you have 5?
246.
6.
Same. Yep.
So you have 6. So you have
Yep.
2 hits.
No, but you got an R result, which only lets 0.25% of the mission payload gets dropped.
Okay, so 0.25. So
So that was 1.5.
1.5. So one
Then I
hit.
roll. Yep. And then I rolled a 71. So the
No.
half.
And then to get another 3, right? You're 2.5 more you need. So it's 0.5 into the 3 is how many percentage of 3. That's what you got to roll to see if you get that extra hit. Because every 3 makes it a hit.
So
60%. So you're at 40%, is it?
no, I'm at 50, right?
0.5. How does it work again, the calculation? I'm stumped now.
Well, first, I think, just to jump in, the effect is only against one of the bombers, not the other two.
Oh, okay.
It's 17%. 0.5 is 17% of 3.
Well, he just said it's different. It's only against one of the bombers is 0.25. So it's 2 times 0.25 is 0.5. Then the other bombers have a combined 4. So 4.5 gets through.
You got to pair off Clay, in other words, under the third engagement rules or whatever it's currently called.
Yeah, I guess the one of that fighter attacks one bomber. I thought it attacked the group.
I see. Yes.
Yeah,
But-
the group gets the benefit of the one to many. You're facing, think of B-17s against a 109. Like, the 109 is picking its poison, but it's hit by all those B-17 shots.
So 4.5 get through. So for every group of 3. So if I take 3 off of that, that leaves 1.5 left. That's half.
That's half. So now it's 50%. So if you roll 50% or less, you'll get
And I
that
already-
extra hit.
And I already rolled a 71, so I don't get the extra hit.
Correct. But going back to, let's say before, it was 3.5 that you got. Let's just say, 1.5. Let's just say
Yeah.
one hit. If it was 3.5, you have one hit and you have 0.5 left. 0.5 is 17% of 3. you would have to roll then 70% or less,
17%.
17%, to get that extra one hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you don't drop the remainders.
Yeah. Okay. So you took one hit there.
Okay, let me put a one hit marker there. You know what? I think let me clone this.
So the bomber that he attacked, bombers don't ever fight back against the fighters at all. There's no way bombers will ever knock out enough fighters.
That's a good question, Steve. That's a rule we need to read in the future. Because I believe when bombers are going to drop their payload, they don't fight back, but I might be mistaken. We can look it up if you want to look it up.
Yeah, we should look it up just because, historically, maybe it's such insignificant losses historically. I don't know much about the air war. But, if your little P-11Cs were flying in on the 117Zs there, and you're shooting at me, but I would have guys shooting back at you, did they not? Did the bombers not have some kind of defensive guns on them to fire back a little bit anyway? Or is it such an insignificant amount in this game that you don't worry about it, or what?
I can do my movement. You can quickly breeze through the bomber section, or go to air-to-air combat section. Actually,
Pretty sure the bombers fire back.
So like my bomber has a 4-4 rating, so I would fire back at his fighter on the +1 column with the 4 versus 3, because he has a defense of 3.
Yeah, but then they're DRMs. It gets complicated.
The question is, does all 3 fire back as well, or just
No. They just generate the DRMs.
Right, so it'd be many bombers versus 1 fighter. But there's no. Or one fighter versus many bombers would give me a +1.
But the bombers have attack factors besides bombing factors. I know if you drop your payload with fighters, some fighters can carry bombs. You can drop that payload and act as a fighter and use your fighter thing. Is that the same rule mechanic for bombers as well? And saying, I'm dropping my payload now and I'm going to fight as a fighter.
No, they don't fight as a fighter, but they have defensive ability. They have, like, U.S. bombers would have 50 cals that would be firing all over the place at any fighters that come in close.
Correct, like we see in the movies when they're in the belly. They're in the belly
so
and they fight.
I think it's baked into the rating, is my understanding. But it's a great question.
So it'd be a 4 versus a 3, and I'd get a +1 because of I don't get the benefit of the bombers, or do I get the benefit of 1 fighter versus many bombers?
I would say you get the benefit.
Yeah.
Like Campaign for North Africa, the bombers, even though they're dropping a payload, get to fire at every fighter that's coming at them. Every one.
I still can't believe you played that, Clay. Hats off to you.
It gets easier as you go through the motion. Steve, see in the air-to-air combat if you find anything with that bomber thing. I'm gonna move my units. I'm just gonna move a couple back into position.
Okay.
And my guys who are in your zone of influence can only move 1 hex basically. Because I'm going from zone of influence to zone of influence, which is like 5 plus the terrain.
All right, I'll go look up air to air while you're doing that.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. At least in the latest rules, there's a -1.
A -1 for bomber versus fighter.
Well, you get the plus. It's the flip side of the -1 that Clay incurred. You get a +1.
Oh, +1, and then is there any national bonuses for me? I'm not.
Just the ACV was a wash.
Oh,
The rule
that's
is
right.
the
That's
rule
right.
is I can quote it. When resolving the engagement, any interceptor outnumbered by at least 2 to 1 suffers a -1 DRM in the die roll, while the target of the interception returns fire with a +1.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and roll that with a +1, which isn't going to matter when I roll a 1. So, it ends up being a 2, which is an R, which is return to base, no combat loss, but there's no payload for him to drop, so he's good to go.
I wanted to see a counterattack, Clay. This is disappointing.
I don't have the manpower.
Yeah, you do. We're not even going to fight.
You've got the reserve armor battalion sitting there near Warsaw. Come on, buddy.
He's got like 1,000 men.
Yeah, but you're the super poles right now. I never surprised you. You were on high alert and ready to go.
At least want to see a cavalry charge. We could do like the cavalry modifier against machine guns or whatever.
All right, guys. I'll give you one.
You should do it. You should do a counterattack so
I will.
So Mark can see
I'm
what
teasing.
I'm
teasing. I'll shut up.
No. There is one I can do for Mark and April online. Let's see if I can get Where the hell's my army? Oh, here's my army guy. I'm gonna make a counterattack up here against this guy. But I don't even have. Oh yeah, I got my core here, which I can get him adjacent to him.
While you're doing that, I'm going to run to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
You do that.
Sorry to jump in, Clay. I didn't mean to do that.
No, not at all. I'm glad you guys are on. It's nice to talk to guys who are war gamers as well.
Very rusty on this one. You even got your rail lines, Clay. You could mass your whole army.
The problem is I have my LP here and I have my LP here. And it cannot reach I would have had to ship it up there before because I don't have ST.
Oh, you don't have a supply terminal.
Supply terminal. They didn't give a supply terminal unless we missed it. So I would have had to train that up, drop it, and then my army could then send it out, and or I could have changed it into GPs.
You could put the 1st Division in offensive supply and then rail it to the front.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, I can rail it to the front during my movement phase, yes?
I don't see why not.
Yes. So I can rail this one, this LP. Let's do that. Give people
Yeah, I mean, this isn't some big strategical battle we're doing. We're just trying to move pieces and stuff before we play the actual game. So
we can rail this to him, to this army. And then once the army then is in supply, it puts this core in supply, which then my core can get next to these divisions to give them offensive supply. Yes?
Yeah, so you put the core in offensive supply, and then when he moves and ends on top or next to them, they can be an offensive supply. Is that how that works, or?
Well, because he has no ST, what he has to technically do is rail the LP to 1105 and basically use it as GSPs, and it will provide offensive supply to anything adjacent.
Oh, I have to send it to him.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
Just the nuance of using GSPs.
Yep.
so I know what I have to do. I have to, for every one is 20. Is that correct?
21 now under the new rules, apparently. They're going to be published.
Why are they changing it?
Because everyone got annoyed dividing it by 3.
And you put it there, I think you said Clay 1105. Just as
No. He's right. He's right.
Oh, he's right.
Place
Okay.
there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just the principle is it supplies everything adjacent wherever he wants it.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's 20. I'll make it 21.
Rule 15J for reference.
And this comes out. This LP is gone. Why is this jumping all over the place? Let's get rid of this. Okay. So basically, for every stacking point, it costs me one general supply point. Steve.
Yeah.
So right now I have 8, 9 stacking points. So I have to lose 9 of these things when it's time for me to attack.
Okay.
All right. So I'll do that after. Let me move my other guys in position. I got them back up.
And they made it even more nuanced in Barbarossa, where if you stack an army headquarters with GSPs, you can do weird supply chain stuff too. But this is the normal way to do it.
Now you can do 1 hex.
I put the rule in the chat.
I like seeing that more and more players are playing this.
The system deserves to be played.
I just saw your message, by the way. Thank you for that folder. I'm just trying to stay caught up.
See, the zone of influence kills, because to leave a zone of influence it costs 4. Plus then the terrain costs another 1, so that's 5. So being on top of a unit just really hampers you from escaping. So what do I want to do here? This has to get out of here. Let's go.
Hey,
Yes.
Clay Todd is asking if he can listen in on the TSWW game.
Yes, he can. Can you email him my Zoom? The Zoom link that I sent you by email, send it to him.
Yeah. Send it to Todd? Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You want to hear something even crazy? Martin and John cannot agree on if you have 2 divisions next to each other, it's a reduced ZOI situation for movement or a full ZOI situation for movement, i.e. the cost is 4, as you said, Clay, or 3.
I say, like we talked about, it should be reduced.
Yep, John, last time I talked to John about it, he said, yeah, I kind of like it being full. Despite the fact Martin agrees with you, and that's what the rules say.
Bring this guy back. I'll bring these guys back.
Oh, there's the chat. I didn't even know there was a chat on Zoom.
Yeah, I can bomb you with rules.
It's good. Trying to learn. It's the main goal, right? So, bomb away. I like your videos. I watched them all at least twice, some of them 3 times. I'm waiting for you to do a naval one.
Yeah, I saw that. No, next life.
He saw me out there lamenting and begging for a naval one.
Okay, Steve. I've moved my units, and now I'm going to make an attack. But let me pay my supply points again. I have 8, 9, so I have to lose 9 on this. So let's go back to sequence of play. So we got to look at the Barbarossa one. So movement was done. We did our air. You want to fly Cass for the attack that I'm making?
I don't think this is a very good attack for you, so let's just fight it straight up ground forces. Since we goaded you into attacking, I don't think I'll bring the might of my air force on you.
You sure? We're times 8.
You're not times 8.
I'm not going to bring any cats because we don't have any planes or anything like that. So,
Yeah.
So we get to get our full CEV. So I'll tell you what my numbers are going to be. So we're 6, 7 is 13, 15. 15 times 1.1 is 16.5. Rounded up is 17. We're rounding things up, guys. If it's 0.5, we round up. If it's 0.49, we round down. So we're 16.5. So we're 16 to your 12.
17.
17.
17. But I get to take mine times 1.5, don't I?
Yes, you do.
So I'm at 18.
So you're 18, which is going to put us at 1, 2, 1, 2. Well, let's do this. 17 divided by 18, which is actually 94. So that is about 5%.
Oh, you failed it. You needed 95 or less, didn't you, to go up to 1 to 1? So you're at 1 to...
Unbelievable. How can you fail that?
I don't know, dude.
So yes, I'm at 1, 2. Yes, is that the next one?
1 to 2, yep.
Okay, 1 to 2. What's the DRMs? Let's look at the DRMs, guys. Even though we should know this by heart.
Let's see. I gotta find the Barbarossa one. Actually, has the DRMs on it.
Okay, so I have no
So
armor.
you don't have any armor.
You get +1 for air superiority. There's no terrain. We're not freezing. There's no concentric attack. No tactical. No fortified or hexide. No national. No
No, I think
engineer.
it's just
cities.
-1.
So it's just a -1. I will roll and see where we are. 8 minus 1
Ooh.
is 7.
It's respectable.
Pushed him back.
UH. Quartered half. Defender has to retreat. So you're quartered. I'm halved.
Okay, so I'm a quarter what you are. So you're 4 stacking points.
You lose 1.
Oh, I made a mistake. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so
I'd go to reduced. And I'll retreat there.
So I lose 1. So we'll lose our artillery. Gone. All right, we had an
Well, that went
attack.
better than I thought it would. I was hoping you'd roll low and get smoked.
You should have brought your planes.
Well, we goaded you into attack. I had a motorized unit that was sitting there thumbing their nose at you and trying to egg you on. They didn't have any air support. They didn't think you'd attack.
The beauty is, on pursuit, I can get out of there. Now, but you can move guys up there since I had an attack there on reaction.
Yeah.
So let's go. So we finish combat.
Yep.
Reaction movement, that's you.
And that's between 3 and 7 or 3 and 8?
3 and 7. But you have to be at least 3 hexes away from any enemy unit first.
Yeah.
Check that. And then you have to be within 3 to 7 hexes from that battle that a piece was.
Yeah. The only thing I have that could move is a bunch of border guys, and they're pretty happy at the border.
So then I have reaction. Now, I'm not reaction, pursuit.
Yeah.
I fed my guy offensive supply. However, they're leg units, so they can only move half their movement rate, which is going to be 3. What I need to know is, can I carry that general supply points with me?
You could have broken them down before rail movement. I would say put whatever you didn't use back where it was.
Okay, just leave it. Okay.
You didn't have to break it down before.
Just send what you need there. You wouldn't send a bunch of supplies there.
So what we're going to do, Steve, is that we're going to get out of Dodge. But I can't have you cut off my guys in the north, which you will. I have to stay here. I'm holding.
You assume I know what I'm doing.
You know good enough. Trust me. I know you do. Trying to soft talk me.
No, I'm not. I didn't push in very hard that last turn, but that's because I'm learning how to use the. I didn't understand the pursuit and stuff and how to use that, so that's why you play it, right? You learn how it works. So
Absolutely. So pursuit. I can move other guys. Hold on, Steve. But they can't be adjacent to an enemy unit. So any units that are not adjacent, I can move. Let's do this here.
they can't be adjacent.
I don't believe they can be.
I had guys that were over. You can overrun and pursuit move. Huh?
Then maybe it's the reaction I'm thinking.
You can move.
Yeah,
So, but then that's kind of like a loophole to getting out of like for instance over here, guys, over here in the west.
Yeah, but you don't have enough movement there because you're moving from one zone of influence to another, and that's going to be more than 3 movement points. So you can't move. Remember, that's what we figured out when I was trying to overrun you with my infantry.
That's right. That works.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to like use these guys to get away, you'd have some movement, right?
Nope.
Or what is it to move
Nope.
out? No, because you can't move out. It's too many.
That's where I'm probably coming up with this, because it's going to cost you 4 to leave a zone of influence.
Yeah, and you can only move 3 right now. So yeah, unless you have armor or motorized.
You can always move 1 hex though, even the guy who's surrounded in a phase, in a regular movement phase.
So this is the thing we went over last time, Mark. Because if someone wanted to do an overrun,
Yep.
they have to spend the overrun costs and have enough movement points to do the overrun. If you're allowed, and if you're adjacent to someone, then that's the loophole. You can always do an overrun, even though you don't have enough movement points to do so.
Right. You can, for example, your 17th division is E1. He can move to 701 irrespective of the ZOI cost because you can always move 1 hex. Overruns don't operate under that principle. You actually have to have the actual movement points.
Okay. So Steve, you hear that? So
Yep.
moving forward, are we good with that?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
if that's the rule. I want to play it the way it's written. So yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, all 150 pages of them.
Exactly.
Hey, the overrun rules are pretty restrictive. You have to be in offensive supply. You have to be in supply chain.
You're going to have to pretty much be a mechanized or armored unit because infantry don't have enough movement to overrun.
It can be done, but it's hard.
Evening, gentlemen.
Hey, Todd.
Hey,
Hello.
did
Welcome.
you get on? Are you there? Can you hear us, Todd?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm on Zoom. Yep.
Are you logging on to Vassal to watch or just listening?
I realize I don't have that, so I can just listen. I don't have
Okay.
a module,
Okay.
so I'm good. I can listen.
Okay, Steve. I moved all my guys. Todd, while Steve's doing his thing, I could send you the thing to
Okay.
get on to watch.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, it's underway. Yeah, I guess I looked for the module. But I guess you have to email somebody to get them. So yeah, if you want to send it to me, that'd be great.
So we are well, Steve. I'm done with Now you return your air units.
I already did that to get them out of the way for you. I guess I should wait, but I did that while you're doing your movements so they'd be out of your way.
Okay. So then
It did work with return all units to air bases. They all went back. So
If I had a nickel for every hour Tom spent on this module,
yeah, we'd all be rich. Yeah, that's a pretty nice feature there. That's definitely some chrome.
We're all spoiled by the Vassal creators.
Yeah. Okay, so then that would be we would go back to, I guess I got to record my losses there on my motorized reduced one I took.
Oh, Todd, I don't have your email. Steve has your email. Yes.
Yeah, I can put it in the chat.
Steve, can you just send it to him from you?
I don't. Does it have to be zipped or anything, or can you just send it? Is it small enough?
You can send it as small. I just zip it because I like to zip them.
Okay. Let me try, Todd. Every brain cell's being challenged tonight for me.
No, I know. Go ahead. You're good.
speaking of which, mine are fried. But thank you very much, gentlemen, for letting me join.
Anytime, man.
Mark,
Take care.
thank you, Mark.
No, Clay, thank you.
Yeah. Same here. I'm just trying to keep up.
Look forward to it.
All right. It's 1.7 G is the current one, right? Yeah. Hopefully they'll let me send it through my free email.
Okay.
It says message sent, so should be good to go. If you don't get it, holler.
Okay. We'll do.
Where's the chart, Clay, for looking at the Barbarossa charts? Just for the what you get when a unit is destroyed. How many steps?
Okay, so you want to go, since we're playing with Blitzkrieg, go to the Blitzkrieg charts.
All right.
And that is,
Hmm.
let me find it. It's at the bottom.
Way toward the bottom, like 2044 or something, you say? Or
I'm scrolling down right now to find it.
I need to look and see what I get for that motor. Or see. Okay, so is it the unit replacement chart, or is it a different chart for when you lose stuff?
Yes, unit replacement chart, 42, page 42 of the chart.
So which one? So if I had a motorized infantry and it's reduced,
Okay,
how do
look.
I know what I get for steps?
Okay, you lost 2 stacking points.
2 stacking points of motorized. Is that all I do is record the 2 steps?
You
Stacking
recorded
points?
you recorded 2 steps on a piece of paper, and you put motorized that you lost it for that one.
Okay.
When
And you have to divide that by 3, don't you?
Yes.
Okay.
And then you keep those points all together. And then when you have enough points to build up the units, you're going to have some artillery and some armor and some infantry, and you put them together and you make your units.
So, but here's my question: when a motorized unit takes 2 stacking point losses, is it just considered infantry, or is there a breakdown of that unit?
So when a motorized infantry That's why you want to keep them separate, by the way.
Yeah.
It has a little bit of armor, it has a little bit of infantry, and it has a little bit of artillery.
Does it say, is that on the same page you're telling me, that 42?
Well, it's showing here what you need to put together to make it.
Right.
So when you lose it, it's those pieces. Like you couldn't, if you never lost any armor, let's just say, and you never lost any motorized infantry, let's just say, right? And you wanted to build armor, you couldn't build it if you only lost infantry units. Because in the infantry, as you can see, it's only infantry and artillery that make up infantry.
Yep.
For you to build armor, you need armor to be destroyed or lost to be able to recoup armor replacement points.
Yeah, as long as there's none of the reinforcements. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. I got them recorded, so back to the turn sequence then. So that would be player turn end phase. Complete any turn administration, including calculating combat replacements and remove spotted markers.
Yes.
So that's when I would divide those two stacking points by 3, and then I would put in the pool 0.66 or 0.67 motorized points.
So you'll leave it as 0.67 for and put on the infantry, right? Because infantry is a little bit of artillery and infantry units.
Okay.
And when you have enough of them, you can build infantry units back.
Okay.
Artillery is only built with artillery stacking points.
So to build my motorized infantry that took the 2 stacking point loss. So if that's reduced, if I wanted to put that back to full strength, I'd have to have 0.75 infantry, 0.25 armor, and 0.5 artillery.
Correct. 0.75 infantry, 0.25 of armor, and 0.5 of artillery will bring it back to full.
But here's my question. I'm not sure if I'm asking it. When I lost the motorized infantry step points, wouldn't I have lost a little bit of armor, a little bit of artillery, and a little bit of infantry since it's a motorized unit?
Yes, and that's why I say keep them separate. So when you lose things, have a column just for motorized infantry. So when you build it up, right, you can now build motorized infantry with that.
Yeah, but it's not telling me the breakdown of armor, infantry, and artillery. If I put it down as motorized infantry, there is no motorized infantry class.
There is a percentage that we have to break out. I have to find it. That tells you how much of each one.
Okay, well, it won't matter then because I only have 0.66 stacking points worth when I take those 2 stacking points and divide by 3.
Yeah, but I'll find it for us. But there is a percentage for each one. So let's say infantry, for argument's sake, has a little bit of infantry and a little bit of artillery. As you can see, there's more infantry than artillery. So there's a percentage broken out that is for each one. You follow me? And I'm going to make up a number. Let's say 78% of infantry is infantry, and the other 22% is artillery.
Yeah. Well, for Germany, it's 301, so it'd be 75%, 25%, right?
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Okie doke. So then if we go so we'd be basically at the beginning of the initial phase for the next turn, right?
Yes. And by the way, production, so you know, Steve, if you go to chart 26, actually a lot of charts. If you go to charts 25, 26, Blitzkrieg 27, 28. If you look
Yeah.
at those charts,
Yeah.
you get oil to build planes, you get oil to build armor units, and there's factories all across Germany and
Yeah,
throughout
artillery.
that will be bombed by planes, but you get to produce all these units. So it's kind of like it has a strategic level to it where you can create units from your factories. So when we play Blitzkrieg, you're going to have all that stuff. And if you go down to page 30 of the charts, you get replacement points.
Yeah, production. Yeah.
Yes. So that's something to look forward to. Right now, we're playing a small scenario, so we don't really get into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's NRP?
NRP, I think that's naval, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
Naval replacement points, I believe. So there's ARP, which is air replacement points. SRP is stacking replacement points. And NRP should be naval replacement points.
I see armor, artillery, air, and NRP on page 30 under Germany.
So it has to be your naval,
Okay.
because you're going to build ships as well. Okay. So we are in new game turn. It is September, second week of September. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, second half of September, week
So-
3 and 4.
We're going to roll for weather. So let me get to the weather chart. Barbarossa weather chart.
I don't know if you saw Mark left you a message in the chat about full MPs to overrun and stuff. Kind of an overrun comment,
Oh,
if it matters. I don't know if it's relevant, but and then he left. So is weather? So I think I need a bunch of other stuff for this to work, like maps and all that stuff. This is just like generic module, so we don't need to worry about it. But is there weather that in different areas of the
Yes.
front? So like Barbarossa doesn't have the same weather up and down the whole front, or does it?
yeah. Can you see where I'm clicking here, Todd?
Mine, it's not working. I need like
Oh.
map files and all kinds of files. It looks like it's like ASL module. You need all kinds of extra stuff. So that's fine.
Oh, when you go into the when you open up the TSWW, you see there's a little key over there. If you open the drop down, you have to activate the counters for Blitzkrieg and activate the maps. You know, when you open up Vassal and it shows your library of games.
Oh yeah, I'll have to get back out of it. Okay.
Yeah, by the TSWW, you should see something that looks like a little key. If you click on that, it'll bring a drop down just to activate the Blitzkrieg counters and maps.
Okay.
All the other ones are listed there, but it'll take forever, and sometimes it won't load certain maps. So
Okay.
just do the Blitzkrieg and then come back, but you'll see on there they have they have these light blue lines that show like weather zones with like a 2-letter thing, and then you roll for each of those zones. And then the nice thing is in the Vassal module is you go into the weather and you can put them all in there and then set it, and it changes them all on the map. So you don't have to go find them.
Okay.
So yeah, go try to load those if you want, and then let us know if you
Yeah.
can see them.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I think Jeff is in here now too.
Yeah, I sent him the. No,
You'll have to tell him to activate those unless did he get the Zoom login too?
I just sent him the Zoom. Oh, actually, I sent him both. Actually,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I'm here. I'm just trying. How do I see the map in the game?
yeah, that's what we're trying to figure. I'm working that through.
Did you see where to turn them on your Vassal menu when you go in? You open up the TSWW little drop down box. You'll see counters and maps.
I'll show you guys. I'm going to share my
share
screen.
and do that.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me get to the Zoom.
I'll
Sorry to
share,
approach a game like this, guys.
I'm sharing my screen.
Clay has started screen sharing.
Can you see?
Okay, yeah, I'm there.
You see right up here? You see that little key to the left of
Oh,
that diamond?
I,
If you
I don't have
click
that.
that.
I
Oh,
don't have that
so
key.
so you got to load the game first. Once you load the game, that key, after it loads completely, that key will show up next time.
Yeah, it's got to
Okay,
load all the
let me.
tiles.
I'll get out of Vassal and shut down Vassal. Okay. Yeah, let me give. I see that key. That's perfect. Thank you.
And then open that key up, play, and show them where they highlight the blitzkrieg. Just do the maps and the counters for blitzkrieg.
Yeah,
See
got it. Okay.
Just highlight those two items. That's it.
Okay.
All right.
Good. Thank
Let me
you.
get
I'll
back
do
into the
that.
game.
Yeah.
And let me stop sharing. All right.
Okay. So TS.
All right, Steve. So let's roll for weather. Let me get out my maps. Not my map, chart. So there's two areas we have to do. It's the German plain, correct? And what was the other one? Continental?
Continental cold.
Okay, so let's roll one dice, and that one dice will handle both for weather and charts. I mean, for the weather.
Okay, I got to roll a 4.
All right, so hold on. Let's do German plain. So it's 0 dice modifier, and you roll a 4, and we're in September, you said?
Yeah, September.
So it's going to be C, cold.
Okay, so I changed it to cold, and then
Continental is -2 to the dice roll. That brings it to a 2. And September is also cold.
okay, and then do we roll weather separate,
We can do that.
or do you use the same roll?
We can do it any way we want. So if you want to use
Right.
that 4,
I rolled a 9.
so you rolled a 9. All right, German planes. Let's see what the DRM is. It's a -4. So -4 to 9 is going to bring us to a 5. And we have good for the German
Okay.
planes.
How about the continental cold?
Continental, there's no dice modifier, so a 9 is going to be poor.
Now, it was poor turn 1, so now we change it to poor turn 2.
Yes, it stays
Okay.
poor, and we might get mud in poor weather.
Right.
We have to
All
look
right,
that
I
up.
will.
Let's look at the.
Try to see if it updated it. Yeah, it updated it, so we're good. They both updated.
In the very beginning on the weather, it'll tell us if okay, weather is on page 13 or 15 if you're
Are you in Blitzkrieg charts, or are you in?
no,
Master
I'm
charts?
I'm actually in the rule book.
Oh, page. You said 13.
By the way, we were supposed to roll 2d10 to determine weather. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing we did anyway, but we just did them separate.
Okay. Yeah. So on the
Mud.
second consecutive turn of such weather remains until good weather returns to, or the temperature returns to freezing. So I think it goes to mud.
Yes, we got mud. Awesome.
Oh, that'll be good for someone.
Not the Germans.
This is perfect. We get mud. Okay.
Okay, where is the?
Now
condition?
that is over here by Poland area, Steve.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything over here in the GP is not mud. It's regular.
Yeah, it's just it's continental cold. That's mud, right?
So all of this is mud.
All right. And so that's changed now. So all of the continental cold will now show mud. Okay, so
All right, so you're going to check now. We're going to go in initial phase. You're going to check to see if you're in general supply. You're going to give yourself offensive supply for any of your attacks.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not getting this thing either.
Yeah, I think there might be some other things. What are they called? They're not V mods or something else. But don't worry about it, guys. I can listen in. I'll get it another time.
Okay. Yeah, there shouldn't be any mods to download. It should just be the one, and you got to activate them.
Okay.
And then if you click on theater map, because it'll all look blue because it starts way up north, then you can click down into the continent. That's the other thing is I used to think it wasn't loading, but it did. It's just that the map is so huge. I was way up north in the Atlantic. Okay. So if you click on theater map, you'll see all the little black dots over there in Poland. If you click on that, that'll send you over there. And then if you close the theater map, it'll put all the pieces back on.
Yeah, if you close that theater map and you see the magnifying, zoom in, zoom out, you have to zoom all the way out. You're probably seeing all blue. You have to zoom all the way out.
Oh.
If you zoom all the way out, that's another thing. Yeah, it puts you zoomed in. So zoom all the way out, scroll down, and you'll see the map. It's either scrolling down or to the left or to the right. One of those two.
Okay. I'll give it a shot.
Excuse me.
Does the scenario start at the beginning of Barbarossa and you just have to go to September?
No, we're just doing Poland. This is Blitzkrieg. We just did the Polish setup, and then because we're going to play the whole Blitzkrieg campaign here eventually, but we just wanted to move some troops around and kind of learn some of the basics.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, like, we're just basically moving around and attacking. We're not using the Blitzkrieg rules or anything. So.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Plenty to do with just trying to figure out the supply. And all right, so I'm doing my supply right now, Clay. Is that the deal?
Yeah, so I'm looking at your units. Kind of looks like everyone so far is in supply. The question I have, because you have a guy here, Steve, your core.
Yeah.
So these guys, remember, this is not a line of communication. You don't have a line of communication here. Because you're in now my territory and you don't own my territory. Your line of communication starts from here out.
Right, that's where you have to bring these guys, right?
So, I wish Mark was here. I believe you can now trace back to here and then do that. But if these guys were further in, they couldn't trace back to this and use this as a line of communication. They would have to go from here all the way back to here, because the line of communication stops at the border.
Right, unless you have a supply terminal, right?
That's correct. And bring it up.
And then the supply terminal pushes out 6.
It'll push out 6. So you can trace forward 6. Yes. So that's
but this HQ right here that I have can go. You can go 6 from here, so you can go 1 out to here, right?
No, you're pushing. You're going. You don't trace backwards. You trace forward. So the line of communication.
Right. So my line of communication goes from here in Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
and it could go right to this reduced unit along this rail, right?
It stops there, yes.
Yep. Well, but then this pushes 6 out,
No,
doesn't it?
no. Line of communication does not push out into, if you had a headquarters, Army headquarters here, yes. The Army headquarters will then push out. But a line of communication does not push out. So you have no Army headquarter here.
Oh, so I need to get this guy has to get moved up there then.
You would have had to put him there, which we're learning right now, or you would have left this core headquarter right here.
Okay.
So that's what you would do. Put that core headquarter here until you get everyone up to the front line to push then supply into Poland.
So he wouldn't want to advance. He'd want to stay back here.
That's correct. And then this core headquarter right here would want to be here, Steve.
Okay, so you don't want to move your core headquarters until you get an Army headquarter here or a supply terminal, which a supply terminal could actually eventually end up out here. And then the new LOC would go from here to here, right?
That's correct.
If there was a supply terminal.
Yes, and so you have to think of it as the unit who's given supply, they are pushing it forward, not the units pushing back to it. And then once you look at it that way, it makes it easier. And a line of communication is a road or a rail line, and a rail line does not push it forward because we are now in enemy territory.
Unless you have a supply terminal.
Unless you have the supply terminal.
When does the supply terminal?
Excuse me?
When do you move supply terminals?
You can move it during the movement phase. You have to flip it over and move it.
To the OP side is when it moves?
To the ST side. OP means operating. ST means it's a supply terminal. I think it's one of those two. It doesn't matter, but we have to get that down.
Sure.
And I believe they moved 20 hexes, Steve.
That's right. Yep, they down a they have to stay on rails and roads, right?
Correct.
Okay,
so now your core sends out 6 MSR in radius of supply. So anyone within 6 radius.
Now, here's the thing, though. So this army right here, he's in supply. He can supply out to 6, right?
Correct.
So he could have went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because he can extend into enemy territory. So he technically was in supply from this army.
Yes.
Not a very long supply line, but he was.
Correct.
Okay. And then I'm going to want to move these armies up to at least the border and get the supply terminals moved up more because they can also push 6.
And also, that's correct. You are correct there.
So here's an army down here. And he would be pushing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Correct.
And then I think I have an army down here somewhere. Oh, he's way down here, though.
So what you just did, right? Let's say you left those cores there and just moved up your units. Then the core can send out general supply 6 MSR forward.
General supply, right. But I want to put them in offensive supply and then move them up.
You don't need offensive supply with my guys. My guys are so weak.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, so I have a quick question, actually.
Go ahead.
Sure.
In regards to the supply.
If you want to point at something, just put your pointer on it, hold the control button, and then left click, and it'll do that little circle.
Okay.
it's Alt left. I mean Control left click. Press
Okay,
down
so
Control
control.
and then press your left click on your mouse, and you can do that.
Okay, so this guy right here, he gets supplied until he hits the border, yes? Because
So
he's a
so
headquarters?
the way it works
He's an
is
army.
your national supply is here in a major or great city. It will
Right.
then push forward to an ST.
Okay.
The ST will then push forward 6 MSR to an Army headquarters. The Army headquarters will push 6 MSR to units or to a corps. And here's a corps. So now this is in general supply. And now this corps will push forward general supply another 6 MSR to units. So if he had units down here, those units will be in supply from this corps.
Okay.
Assuming
Got it.
assuming there's no Polish guys there.
Yes,
Right.
assuming there's no zone of influence, because that's going to reduce
Yeah,
your
it's based on
MSR.
basically your movement points. So
Yeah, so certain
Okay.
terrain has a cost to the MSR. I think woods, for instance, and just off the top of my head, I think it costs you 2 MSR to go through woods, but it costs only 1 to go on a road or through clear terrain. So
Yeah.
you have to just see that.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
all right.
And then what me and Steve were talking about, once you go into enemy territory, every nation has a line of communication, which is their road. But it does not continue into enemy territory because you don't control that area. You then have to bring this ST to the front line to push out more general supply. Or he can
HQs.
bring his HQs here to the front line to push into enemy territory with supply.
Okay.
All right. So I'm up in Königsberg looking at my supply there and kind of learning it off of that. So
Yeah, so all your infantry units in Königsberg is behind the border, in Germany border. They're good because they are right next to a rail line, so they're getting their supply. These guys are not.
well,
Well, this guy,
this is an army right here. So
he's
this
gonna
guy
throw
can
here.
so he can throw out to here to this.
So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Nope, you're good.
Yeah, and he can throw down to this core HQ down here. Cores don't have to follow roads for the. You have to pay whatever that. These might be 2, 1 or 2, right?
Correct. I think they're 1. So you're good.
And like this guy here would throw out, he would go to there. And then this guy would throw out to these. This guy up here would throw out to these.
Okay, it looks like all your guys are in general supply. And then you can spend a third to put 1 army headquarters in offensive supply.
Yeah, 1 army, and that'll do 3 cores or 4 cores?
4 corps.
4 cores, okay. Okay, so
So right now, April, he's putting his army in offensive supply for his up and coming attacks. If he doesn't do this and he attacks me, he attacks at 75% of his strength.
Okay.
So you understand how LP works, April, do you?
The logistics points?
Yes.
I believe so.
Now that you know the system, Steve, it goes a lot quicker, yes? 'Cause
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I see you marking all your offensive supply units. And April, if you have any questions as we're doing this, feel free to ask if you're stuck on something.
All right. I think I understand how the LP works, so I think we should be good on that. So we've got that. I think I've got that down. Um, I will definitely keep that in mind.
Okay.
Steve, after you do your offensive supply, I am not doing any air-based attacks because I don't have anyone.
Okay.
you can go right into movement.
Okay. I'm just about done.
While researching the vassal questions and stuff, I came across one of the first posts under Google is on Board Game Geek. TSWW, is this a joke or can people really play this game? But that was funny.
Yes, people can play it. Were you able to get on the Vassal mod? Because I can share my screen, Todd.
Well, I really think, I don't know if you use ASL, I really think you have to have extensions because I have Combat Commander and a Vassal on here, and there's a caret next to it. I have carrots or I have down arrows because I'm using a Mac. It's because I've had to add extensions. And when I load it up with you, sync up with you guys, it says module error. You don't have this map, you don't have the counters.
Did you click on the two items? The Blitzkrieg.
That doesn't even come up. I don't even have that option.
That's bizarre.
So I'm wondering if you do need to send me a zipped file that has all that stuff in it.
Because mine works fine out of the gate.
Yeah, that's really strange. I mean, I'm using 3.7.6 Vassal. I don't know if that makes a difference, but
Yeah, that's what I'm in. So I would assume it would work for you as well. I don't know. There was a second file. Did you just have the Vassal mod, or did you have a second file? Because when he sent me the zip, I had a second file as well.
Oh, can you send me the zip? I can give you my email.
Give it to
if you want. I'll send you the zip.
Yeah, thanks,
he just sent me
guys.
the V mod. Yeah, you could do that. That'd be great.
Guys, I'll be using the restroom. I'll be right back.
All right.
Also, to touch base on your question about whether this can be played, I think it's a lot more playable over Vassal, having looked at it, than it will be when you attempt it on an actual board game.
Oh, that's funny. I don't know who is someone ready for me to give them my email? It's kind of long and convoluted, but
You
you might want to type it in the chat. This is being
just put it in the chat.
Oh yeah. I don't understand this technology. Okay, let's see.
The world to know your email address.
Yeah.
Sends you all the spam related to TSWW.
I'll do it. Okay, let's see here. Chat. Where's my chat?
Did we lose Jeffy? Did Jeff leave?
He did. Because he couldn't get in either. What I'll do is when you send me the Zoom, I'll forward it to Jeff. He said he can't. He goes, I can't do it and not like I can't do it if I can't see it. And I said, yeah, I don't have that problem. But that went down a bad road.
There was a like file folder which the same name as the TSWW, but instead of .vmod, it's _ extension, and it's got the VMDX files for all the symbols and stuff. And I think that's what you're missing.
Yep. Steve was just sent me the vmod, so.
Oh, okay.
You were busy trying. You were busy fighting the war. I'd say the good. I'd say the good fight, but it sounds like you're the bad guy. So.
Okay. I'm the good guys.
I think you are the baddies.
TSWW. All right, let's see if it'll let me send the zip file. It's probably going to throw it. The size of it, I'm sure it's going to be like, what are you doing? Oh yeah, I'm going to have to share it as a OneDrive link. So.
Okay.
But it should be good once it. Oh, wonderful. Okay, hold on. We're going to try this again.
All right, Steve, I'm back.
Okay, now I'm just looking up some stuff here.
Oh, do your thing. And Todd and Jeff and stuff, when we play our big Blitzkrieg, at least if you have the mod, you can actually watch the big event.
I don't know who else is online with this, but we're getting that sent to us here. So, and I'll forward it to Jeff.
I'm working on it right now. It's uploading to OneDrive.
Jeff abandoned us because he.
That's okay.
But
to be on this and not see what's going on, it's a waste of time.
Oh yeah, but all your soothing voices had me going while I'm setting up this creep game. So.
That's Clay's baritone voice.
Well, I wasn't gonna call anybody out, but sure.
It's not my voice. My voice wouldn't soothe anybody.
Oh, don't say that about yourself.
I know
Okay,
your voice
so
is pretty soothing.
mine is.
Yeah. I think, with the subject material, readers will have, the people watching will have no trouble falling asleep.
Oh, good. Okay, that might be a different topic, but okay. Okay, I think I got them all done here. So I'm gonna have to do some fixing of my HQs at the end of this turn, so I can put more HQs in supply. So let's start moving.
All right. It is not wanting to do that. I noticed you have a Gmail. Do you use your Drive? I can throw it in
Yeah,
my Drive and send it to you that way instead.
yeah.
Okay,
Sounds good.
great. I'll do that. Yeah, my email is like throwing up.
Yep.
Let's
No problem. I appreciate you doing it.
see here. All right, just gonna upload that. And in 5 years, when it's done uploading, it will
Yeah.
get.
Yeah.
Steve, have you moved anyone?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, is my
Nope.
game working? Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I got kicked out or something.
Speaking of doing the grand campaign, do you plan on adding other people into it that are interested, or are you guys just gonna play it between yourselves?
We never talked about it, Steve and myself. I don't mind adding someone who wants to play and take a section. I'm fine with that. I like sometimes doing that.
Yeah, I'm good with
Hmm.
that.
So
Well,
April,
I figure with all the nations, there's probably not going to be a shortage of things to take over. So,
correct. For instance, the France part. Let's just say you can break the France into two sections. You have the North and the South, and break into two players because there's a lot there for both players to work on.
yeah. What I don't know about Blitzkrieg, because I've never tried to set up Blitzkrieg. Because I normally just like the space to actually keep it set up is is a hassle. But I have set up Barbarossa, and there's so many Soviets in that game. You could easily break that up into three or four people.
Yes, playing the whole thing would be great to play. We're talking about North
I would.
Africa, everything, everything.
I would eventually like to do like a full-on grand campaign. That's been my main motivation for getting all the games. While I try to learn what some of the smaller scenarios. Like I said, I've worked through Paul kind of, and I think I've played Balkan Fury, but whether I actually did it correctly is always the question. But I would love to get a full campaign, and I think that would be wonderful.
That would be amazing for all of us to play in that. The thing we would need to find out is the order of battle for everything. Is there one out
Yeah,
there?
there's not, but I have rewrote the Paul Order of Battle and the um, Balkan Fury One Order of Battle for like errata and stuff. So that's something I could very probably. It would take me time, but I could do it um,
But
and get an organized Order of Battle in.
my question would be, couldn't you take all the order of battles from every game and see the dates? and phase it that way. For instance, Blitzkrieg, these units come on at this time period. Barbarossa, these units, you look at the Barbarossa order of battle and see when they come on. You have North Africa, which is Mon Nostrum, they have an order of battle. Couldn't you look at each one of those games and know when they're coming on and treat them as separate games, but they're actually one big campaign? That's the question.
Yeah. So from what I've read, at least, and from what I've looked, everything should be integratable like that. Whenever a unit has to withdraw to like a different, or like needs to be replaced, it's normally noted in the order of battle. Um, the main thing that I think would be the problem is a lot of the order of battles when you go through them talk about like for example, the Albanian Navy is like supposed to be included in Vengeance, but Vengeance isn't out. So it's like half the entire like forces for Albania and Balkan Fury are just not there because the game's not there. So I think that might throw some errors, but other than that, it should be integratable.
Could you go from Blitzkrieg straight into Barbarossa? I have to look at the order of battle when it ends, Blitzkrieg.
That's a very good question. I'm not sure on that. I know that they all integrate, but I don't know like time frame wise. I think you should be able to, yes, but I would have to check.
While Steve is doing his movements, I'm going to check right now because I have Blitzkrieg here.
I know if you go to like the Board Game Geek bulk or the Board Game Geek Blitzkrieg, there was a guy who had uh, Blitzkrieg, Mare Nostrum, Balkan Fury, Barbarossa, and Hakapal set up all at once. So I would say that yes, those are probably integratable. The only ones that I haven't actually seen integrated into the main ones are Singapore and Day of Infamy. So those might throw up a little bit, but I think it could be managed. And I'm also interested to see how they handle the addition of the Balkan Fury 2, the Mare Nostrum 2, and the Blitzkrieg 2, the extra counters and stuff. Because I've heard that most of them are receiving 8 to 12 more counter sheets besides Balkan Fury 2, which is just basically doubling to 2,000 something.
Really?
And like Mare Nostrum's apparently being completely redone counter wise. It'll be interesting to see how that meshes afterwards when they update it to be fully seamless with the system.
So September.
Which, fingers crossed, hopefully my copy of Blitzkrieg 2, or not Blitzkrieg, Balkan Fury 2 and the folder games will come in shortly so I can actually look at the new modules and stuff because I'm very interested to see how they approach that.
So Blitzkrieg, we get reinforcements the last time Germany, that is. November, first week of November 1942. So it overlaps. When does Barbarossa start again? I'm blanking. June 1940.
June 41.
41.
41.
So we're still fighting a war. We're still fighting in France in 42. So whatever, I guess, once you take over France, whatever's left over on reinforcements will come then into Barbarossa. but then you have to make sure the Barbarossa doesn't overlap with the units.
Right. Well, like I said, I think there's a withdrawal, or there should be a withdrawal from the units in France in like the reinforcement book, or in the Barbarossa book that says withdraw these units from this like map section and add them to these units. I know it's supposedly from what I've read, it's either directly in the Barbarossa thing when you have to withdraw them, or it's mentioned in the original order of booklet. It's one of the two.
You know, it would be great to put on this, and I want to talk to Tom about this. And I'm going to use this as an example. So I'm highlighting his 12th division. If you can right click on it and a card opens up for that division, and you can put all the smaller units in that division.
Could you highlight that again? It did not highlight on my screen. Oh, okay.
So I'm just taking any division. There's so many little units, artillery, bicycles, all that good stuff. If you can have a card that when you right click on that unit, like you can do with other pieces in certain games, and it comes out with a little card, and you can put all these little pieces in that. They're in the hex, but instead of having this massive stack of units, it's just you just see that one division. But if you hover over it, it will show you everything there. Because look at this, look at this stack. And
right.
They get out of hand sometimes. But all you have to do is move that division, and they're with the division. It's almost like they're attached to the division, as long as you're staying within stacking limits. So you can move, and I'll use my guy. You can move this guy around, and he's probably has maybe 5 other units with him, but they're smaller units. And if I hover over it, all of them show what's with that unit. It just keeps things.
That might be something to ask him. I don't have very much experience with Vassal, so I've never seen that in like a module. Oh.
Steve's secretly being quiet because he's going to make his attack.
I'm trying to think.
That's what he does. He plays all coy and like, damn.
Exactly. He pretends he doesn't know, but he knows. He knows his rule book like the back of his hand.
Yeah, right.
But he pretends he doesn't.
Not this one, I don't.
Yeah, we know what's
coming. I wonder how the actual like digital game they were making is coming along, because there's been like no updates on that in like an entire year.
Yeah, I asked and nobody answered that.
I prefer to play the actual game on my table, or I'll just do this. I don't want to play. I can't believe I left Warsaw unprotected.
You see where I just moved there?
Yeah, I just saw that.
I'm just going to do a general supply attack on you there. Take Warsaw. Game over.
Game over.
I can't believe I left that unprotected.
You never look a gift horse in the mouth, right?
I will say, if we do wind up playing a grand campaign, I will probably set up all the maps in the gym and just leave them there to play as along with the Vassal.
How would you play it that way? Expand on that.
Well, yeah. So we've got we've got like like I had told you earlier, there was a section of gym that like is big enough to fit all the games combined that just is not used. So, I mean, it would be available if I wanted to like set up the games, and I would just put plexiglass on top of them and just walk over them in socks and be very careful not to knock any of the movement over. And when y'all made movement on the Vassal, I would just reflect it on there to like strategize and stuff. and then I would make my move in Vassal as well. It'd just be like a play kind of.
That's awesome.
I prefer to strategize like with the actual cardboard. And the one experience I do have playing Vassal, which was the SPI Atlantic Wall, I set up the game and I just mirrored the movements and then would like strategize it out from there and then make my move.
Yeah, because there's nothing like actually playing with the actual game.
Amen.
You know, holding the pieces, touching them, looking, standing back from the table, looking at the map. There's a feeling that comes with it.
Speaking of that, Clay, I just bought the Green Hell of Ainur, a 1940 France ASL module, historical module.
Oh, you got that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot how much fun ASL was. Because I played that when I first got into wargaming. And I enjoyed it. And then one night I was just looking for a game to play, and I happened to pull it out. And I wanted to do a tank battle. Because I love playing, these tank battles. And so I brushed up a little bit on the rules, and I just started pushing around tanks. And Stugs, assault guns, are my favorite, by the way.
I love those things. Are you talking about the stub nose 75s? Like
Yes,
I think they're so cool looking.
they are. And so I started pushing it around and asking people online on Facebook for some help on rules I was unclear about, which they've been very helpful.
They have been, actually. It's been nice.
But what I liked about it is it pulls me into the story, and that's why I text you guys. I like games that pull me into the story. It doesn't feel mechanical. Once it feels mechanical, then I feel like I'm not playing the game. I'm not being pulled into the story. And I guess as we learn rules, the more we learn the rule, the less mechanical it feels to us, the more smoothly it plays. That's my experience. I don't know how you guys approach games.
I would agree with that. I'm kind of crazy in the fact that I will like set up the grand campaign and just like work it out as I go. Um, I find that I learn rules best that way when I just try to put it down and play it, rather than like trying to read beforehand and because I would get so slogged down if I don't just like set it up and just start moving them. That
Well, when you got a game like ASL or this one that has 150 pages of rules, of all of which you don't need for every game, that's what I do. I get bogged down like, I paralysis. I think, Clay's right. I've had other people talk to me about that, and I have done more of that where I just start playing. Your first few games suck because you don't know what you're doing. And, you're not going to win, but
Yeah. And I told Todd just a little while ago, earlier today, I said, if you throw down two pieces or 3 units against 3 units, and you work the system, going through the mechanics and learning how to play it, it's a lot easier because of you're working with so few units, and then you can throw everything else on and go from there. Now, I don't like, and I told this to Todd, I don't like ASL starter kit, nor do I like Goss's watered down version of Goss, because it what's the word I'm looking for? When you go in playing it, I'll use Goss because it's another favorite system of mine. You're stripped down of things you should know, and then when you play Goss, the original one, you're kind of lost because you've been taught the wrong way you've been taught the watered down version. And if you want to play the main Goss, because there's other Goss games, there's only that one watered down version, but the other ones are there. It's harder for you to jump into that one because of you're used to playing it this way. That's just my take.
No, I agree with that. I think when I originally played, what was the game? I want to say it was I want to say it was NATO Division Commander. When I originally played like that game, I mean the watered down rules were so different to the actual gameplay of the full rules that it was basically a different game. And so I was like, why even have the watered down rules if you're gonna have to relearn the full game anyways?
Exactly. Absolutely exactly. My biggest thing with games, and Steve knows this, is when they constantly change the rules. I'll give you version 3. If you don't have your game right after version 3, then there's something wrong with your game.
So you're not playing 10th edition Warhammer then, I guess.
I guess not. I don't know why you need that many changes.
Sell more minis. Keep Steve in business.
Exactly.
I guess it would be. Go ahead.
I mean, a series like this, I wouldn't be bothered by 10 or 12 editions of the rules because when you're constantly expanding, it needs it. Especially when you add new things in and you add things that are kind of like exception cases. Like, for example, with Day of Infamy, when they had all that island combat and they wound up rewriting a lot of the rules for it, I think that's kind of warranted. But if it's like one game and you have 10 rules, then it's way too much.
World at War. I know, Steve, you like that system. They constantly change their rules. It's only one game. Well, it's actually 3 versions of it, but World at War, they changed that specific rule book.
Yeah, I had that game punched, and I never really got to it, and I wound up trading it for the campaign for North Africa, which it was a good trade at the time, but I kind of miss it. I kind of wish I would have took the time to actually like sit down and play that.
Well, he's playing campaign right now.
Yes, I'm just playing 5 turns, 3 units, 2 units, and 1 allied. And I have to take Benghazi.
This is for the campaign, right? Not a World at War.
No, for North Africa, campaign for North Africa I'm playing right now. It's on my table.
Yeah, that's on my get to list. I hope to get to it eventually, but we'll see.
Just throw a
I don't know.
small,
I might
throw,
wind up
throw,
buying another copy of.
throw a small section on the table, and the rules are very easy to read. Throw some units down. You're going to need a spreadsheet to keep notes of fuel, ammo, and all that stuff.
Well, that's a rule that I think would be cool, kind of in TSWW. As far as I know, it's not in TSWW. It might be, but I know you produce oil and stuff, and that you have to like. I imagine you have to take it to a refinery to have it put into fuel. But I think it'd be cool if you had actual trucks that you had to drive with the fuel.
The first version of these rules, by the way, you had to pay to move with fuel. I have to find it. But tanks could not move unless it was fuel with fuel. And then they took it out.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why they took it out, but I think those are the kind of things that keep this kind of. I mean, people aren't buying TSWW so that they can play just like an evening sit down game. The people who buy TSWW want rules like that. So I think they should have made it an optional rule at least, rather than just taking it out.
Yes, they should have kept it optional because you do have factories in this game, and the factories produce oil, and it worked off of I think it was wing allowance or something, or by oil. I forgot how it worked. I got to go find the rules because there's the first version 1.0, then it goes to 1.2, then it goes after that 1.29. Then 1.3, and then up to version 6 that we have now.
Right. And wing allowance wasn't put in until like way after Balkan Fury or Blitzkrieg, right? Because I remember in Balkan Fury they're talking about that says just ignore wing allowance. It's already factored into the counters.
No,
So,
it was in first edition in Blitzkrieg, wing allowance.
oh, okay. Well, somewhere in between Blitzkrieg and Barbarossa, they did something with the wing allowance because I know in my copy of Balkan Fury it says ignore wing allowance. We're still working on this. So
I'm trying to figure out if it worked playing it, and I'll use the fuel part. Why take it out? Leave it as an option rule if it's working. If it's completely ruining the game, I understand, but it's not, and it reflects how oil was important.
yeah. Well, I think reading back from what I've read about Blitzkrieg about its release, obviously I didn't get into this series till way after Blitzkrieg was released, um, by many, many years. But I think reading back, there's seems to be two very different schools of thoughts that most of the people who tried the game or played the game were under. I think that that was either A, and what I think is an unfair comparison to Europa, and those who were like, this is like completely original, but it's way too bogged down. And I think they both kind of lost the intention behind the series in both cases, just depending on what they were talking about, of what the series was actually trying to accomplish. And I think some of that pushback is why they got rid of some of the rules, like the fuel rule, that did work and made sense,
No,
in my opinion.
but you brought up a good point, April. You brought up the point of you're not buying this to play this in an hour. You're buying this game because you're going to be involved in it. And so for me, how fast do you want to play a game? Like, what's the rush of blasting through a game so you can get to the next game? Is that it? Or do you want to go through it if you're playing it smoothly? You know the rules, you know what you need to do, and you can move pieces around. And I'm speaking of myself. I don't need to rush through it. This system is not a game I'm rushing through and in 2 days I'm finishing the game. That's not happening. And I understand that. That's what I'm buying into. So that's why when you start taking things out, they're a business, so they have to listen to their customers. I understand that and sell games. But as a designer of your system, you should stick with it. I build buildings and I design buildings and stuff like that. But I'm not changing something that works.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I mean, this game is the way I see it. This game at no point has ever been like an entry level war game. I mean, the map's huge. You have some of the games with the most counters of any war game out there, and the biggest maps of any war game out there. And to a certain extent, one of the biggest rule books out there. And I think at that point, anyone who is complaining about rules in the rule book, if they're not broken, but they think it just adds too much chrome, I think they've completely missed the point of the product at that point. I mean, it's very much you can talk. I mean, it's something obviously to take into consideration, but it's not like that's the target customer base. And I don't think that, I think it goes back to kind of like the problem that SPI had with their S&T magazines, how they would have hardcore grognards who are like, yeah, we want these huge games like the campaign for North Africa, but then no one would buy them because no one who actually didn't subscribe to the magazines really wanted a game that big. And I think that that confounding of like what their actual target audience is, it kind of led to the downfall of SPI. And to a certain extent, I think it's kind of hurt the rules of this game. For
Then,
example, the fuel rule.
then based upon what you're saying, designers and publishers should say, okay, we want to have a game out. Let's give the basic rules. And these are the optional rules. And some games have that. They have booklet 2, that more advanced one. And if
Right.
someone wants
Like
to play the
tournament
event,
rules.
there you go. And someone wants the advanced version of it, they could play this. But if you don't, throw it away. This is a game you're going to be playing. But first, design it that the advanced rules work. And then strip it down from there and make that rule book as the main rule book for people who are coming into the game. And guys like myself who want more crunchiness, I'm going to go to the advanced rules. That would be something I can see instead of like across the board, let's just start dumbing down games and this is what you get and tough shit. That's why I don't like buying new games. That's why I buy older games or I stay with what I like and stay there and that's it.
Right. I completely agree with that. And I think that to a certain extent, a lot of optional rules that are kind of the advanced system, writing that in should be kind of the priority, but make the rules optional or have the ability to remove them if you want to. I think rulebooks should be a lot more modular than they tend to be to a certain extent.
Okay, so Clay,
I'm listening.
I got to kind of wrap it up here probably for the night.
You want to make one attack? You got to make one attack before you go.
Well, we could do one important one because here's the deal. Here's what I'm wondering. So if you notice, I got your big supply route here cut off. Right? Coming out of Warsaw. The only other one you got is coming up this way.
But
so I want these guys to get here.
Okay.
And then I'm going to be able to advance and cut your last line of communication to all of these dudes out here, I think. Isolate all those guys in a pocket.
So you want to do this attack up here?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking we could do. Because that's the most important one. Because if I can pull that off, then no, we better because we still got to do air and stuff. So
there's no air. What air?
You got air down here. You're not going to bring any air.
I'm just going to bring that, but that's a quick thing.
Let's see, where do I got any fighters I can fly in there?
You have this guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got guys up here.
Well, the fighter.
Oh, and I got guys up here.
Because they have to reach my guy right here.
Yeah. They can fly 8.
So I'll put my guy there.
So I would bring these dudes and this dude.
So your fighter's going to attack my guy. Your fighter's an 8. My bomber's a 3. So it's a +5.
What if I got 2?
Oh,
can you only send one fighter after one fighter? Or can you send 2?
No, so one fighter will go first and the second one goes next. But you're going to get the... is there a modifier in your favor for that? Let's look at that.
2 to 1? I think there is with the 2 to 1.
One fighter versus many fighters, or one fighter versus many bombers. So no, there's nothing like that.
What page? What page is that on again?
Page 3.
I do have a quick question about the.
Say that again.
I was going to say I do have a quick question about the aircraft ranges. Does that 8 that was on the counter, does that represent just going out and coming back? Or do you have to expend those as well to come back?
No, that's your regular range out and back is 8. And then you can look, there's you can do certain missions, you can do an extended range which puts you at 16. And then I think there's another one if you're doing I think it's for strategic movement where you can do like 4 times that or 8 times that or something.
But when you extend out the range of the airplane, your fighting strength drops.
Yeah, it drops, and then there's only certain missions you can do at extended range, I think. But
so you have
2 to 1s. 2 to 1 with fighters gives me a +1. If I have 2 to 1 ratio of fighters, though.
That you do. You get the +1 on that side. That's correct. So you're going to get a +1. You're sitting on the 5 column, +5 column.
Yep. And when you're fighting, you're sitting on the -4 column?
I'm sitting on 2 to 6. Yes, I'm sitting on the -4 column. I don't get any modifiers, nothing, no dice modifiers. So I'll let you roll first. Go ahead.
Okay, so fives with a +1. So roll twice.
You roll twice. Yes.
The
6.
first one was a 7. Second one would be an 8.
Is that a kill?
+5, yeah,
So you're gonna kill how many?
3.
So he's gonna be
1 and then 2. So
All right.
3 total.
So he's gonna be dead, but I'm gonna fire back. You tell me what I get.
Okay.
6.
And you're on the -4
Yes.
is a dash, so nothing.
All right. Let me kill off my guy. Done. Now you're bringing in your bombers, who are giving you 5 and a 2, so you're coming in with 7. So
Now, I think I don't want to waste time looking it up tonight, but we got to in the future the JU-87. I think it's a bonus on ground attacks because it's a dive bomber.
so it's times 1.5. You said.
Is it 1.5 for that rule? I can't remember. I know there's a modifier for the JU-87.
All right, then we'll look it up, and next time, then we'll save it
Yeah.
here.
But otherwise, let's just say I have 7 right now. So what is that?
So 7 is it's every 4 gives you 1 attack strength.
Okay.
So 7 from 4, right? So we got to do the modification here. 7 from 4, it gives you 1 point. So you're going to have 1.75, right? So 1 attack strength, and you got 0.75. So 0.75 is 19% of 4. So you got to roll 19 and below.
I got a 10, so I get 2 strength points.
So you get 2 attack and strength points.
Okay.
So
Let me
do
put
you
my
really
attack.
need it with all those guys?
We need it all, man. It's like, come on.
Steve has 1 million men crossing that border. Okay, so I
Well,
have
it's a crucial one.
so my strength, defensive strength, is a 4. My CEV, which is my combat effective value, is 1.1. So 4 times 1.1 is 4.4, rounded down to a 4. So my strength is a 4.
Okay. So my motorized will be 13, 14. Is this just clear terrain, right?
So you're going to be times 1.25 for your motorized.
So it's 18, 19. How much for motorized?
Times 1.25.
Okay. And
But-
then
By the way, I was putting a chart 1.25, 1.5, and all that stuff. So when you give me a total number, I can tell you what it comes out to be.
all right. I only got 6 legs, so that's 6. And I have 19 motorized.
All right, so you have 19 motorized times 1.25, right? That's
Yep.
23.75, which becomes a 24.
Okay.
And then you have
So-
6, so that's
That
30.
gives me 30 times 1.5, right?
Your CEV is 1.5.
So 45 total.
So 45 total is going to be 11 to 1. Well, it's a little bit over 10 point something because I'm a 4.
Okay.
So you have a 25% chance to go to 12.
Does it,
What did you say? You're 45, you said?
it only goes to 9 to 1.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So you're-
So I'm looking for modifiers. Modifiers are armor. I have 4. And a battalion's only like a half or something, isn't it?
correct. So you have 4 and
So
a
I
half.
have 4,
stacking
so I get
points.
I get a +1 for my armor.
Mhm.
Air superiority gives me a +1.
So you have 2 +1s for air. You have air superiority, and also you won the battle and you left over, you have fighters still left there. So you're going to get another +1.
Why does that give another +1?
There's for air, there's about 3 of them.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yes.
So that'd be +3,
So you got,
and that should be it.
that's it.
9-1 with a +3. And I got a 10. That might be annihilated. That is exactly enough for Defender Annihilated.
Sheesh. There it goes.
You got a 10. What'd you get?
Oops. A 10 plus the 3.
DA. Defensive Annihilated. Defender. So basically what that means is in this game, if you have a full division and you get a DE, Defender Eliminated, you flip the full division to the half side and then you retreat. If I would have had a full division, he got a DA, Defender Annihilated, there is no flipping. It's completely taken off the map. Full division and all. But I was only a half anyway, so we're gone. And by the way, we were E1. So we were actually less, by the way.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
All right, Steve. I don't know why I read these guys as divisions down here, Steve.
Guess we're new to the game.
Totally. I just left that wide open.
Well, it was just fun to see if I cut you off.
That's good. We'll call it here and save it.
Yeah, let me save.
And I'll end the recording as well.